Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my LinkedIn Lives. I'm Jasmine Navarro, family wellbeing expert. Nearly forgot then. Nearly forgot what it was. I work with educational institutions and companies, helping them support their family wellbeing. And as you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference. And today I'm super excited to be interviewing Andrew. Andrew, thank you so much for coming. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, gosh. So I'm just kind of like reeling from the word expert and my name being in the same sentence. I think that's so yeah. So well, basically, I what do I do? That's a great question. I'm a senior learning and development expert. I've been in the space for about 30 years. Worked for some massive kind of global corporations. I now work for one of the biggest. Definitely top 10 organizations on the planet as a in a very very senior learning capacity, and that's basically what I do. So I help people be better. I'm helping next generations preparing to take over leadership roles. I'm a coach. I'm a mentor. I rabbit a lot. So I just I'm here to help people. I describe myself as weird. I definitely describe myself as extraordinary, and extraordinary primarily because I think that I am extraordinary, but I also think that everyone else who inhabits the earth is also extraordinary. I was surprised to find recently I think yesterday NASA declared that they think there's another planet in the galaxy, 121 light years away, apparently.
Oh, wow.
That basically that has human life on it. So that was fascinating. I'm not sure whether you saw that on the BBC. They found some of the building blocks of life and water on this planet, and were suggesting there might be another species out there. So I'm pretty sure they'd be extraordinary as well. Anyway,
wow, that's amazing. That's so interesting. And no, what you do is just remarkable, and I'm so excited to talk about this. Let me just say hi to Bashir. Hi, Bashir. How are you doing? And hi, Gemma. And hi, everybody else who's joining. Please feel free to send questions, comments, and we will get back to you when we can. So, Andrew, you chose this topic. Let's talk authenticity. What does that actually mean? And tell us why you chose it.
I think, well, first of all, for me, I'm unashamedly me. I make no apologies for that. I am Maynoon. Maynoon is I'm in Abu Dhabi, and the Arabic word for crazy is Maynoon. And I just am, and I'm not going to make. I'm not going to make apologies for who I am. And I think one of the challenges that I faced right the way through my career, particularly as I've been holding, in more and more senior roles, is that I do a lot of assessments, do a lot of mentoring, and I do a lot of evaluations and psychometric testing. People who are coming into organizations and looking at our hypers and our talent and the way we recruit people. But actually, what I find consistently is that people aren't particularly authentic, and they do a lot of what I would call masking. So they tend to try to conform. There's a great book, I'm a big fan of this great book, which is the Peacock in the Land of the Penguins. I'm unashamedly a peacock. I don't want to conform, and a lot of people hire people into organizations believing they can add real value, and then when they get into organizations they try to say, oh, we really like you, Andrew, but could you be a bit more like this and a bit more like that and a bit more like this? And I just say, no, this is kind of who I am, and I want to be me. I really want to be me, and that may upset you, but I still think I add more value as me, and I don't want to conform, and I'm always trying to encourage other people to be themselves, the extraordinary selves, and the special people that they are. That's basically why I kind of went down that track.
Oh, I absolutely love that. There's so many things that you've said, and there's so many things I want to ask that they've all gone over my head. But I think, first of all, we can only be the best at ourselves anyway, can't we? So that's the first thing to know. You can't be your best.
And I think that's the first. It comes that comes from here. It comes from your heart. That's why I tend to lead with a lot of hearts. And I think it's within you. It's a personal decision.
Do you think? Yeah, is it a personal decision? Yeah,
it's a personal decision, and I because I just find I'm easier. I just find I'm more comfortable with myself if I'm like that. And I get, people say they, naturally, you're going to get haters if you're like that, because they think, well, he's perhaps, I think I've had language like, he's a maverick, or he basically doesn't conform, and he challenges, and he basically, and so there's always going to be, and I think I'm really proud of my haters, to be honest with you, because I'm not going to run away from my haters. They exist, and I think that means, in my mind, if I do have haters, I have a lot. I think I have legions of lovers as well, and I'm not being immodest, but I think the majority of people who meet me, they love me. But I think when you choose to be yourself, it scares people. There are individuals that we are sharing the planet with. When they come across quite authentic and real people, they get quite scared by that, because they're not really sure how to deal with it. And so therefore, and unfortunately for them, when I I can sort of smell that fear, and I tend to then, and I can't really help myself. I tend to sort of almost, I will become larger than I really am, which is quite scary for them, I think. So yeah, let's try and be ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds so simple, but actually it's really hard. But I think saying that, I think that's amazing what you were saying about being yourself. So I always think when you're yourself, I would have thought that gives everybody else the courage to be themselves as well.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So I think it's all about the experiences, right? So I believe that I am a combination of my experiences in life. I'm very lucky with my experiences, and I believe I'm a combination of the experiences, and those experiences effectively have made me who I am today. And if I'm offering an authentic experience to people, I'm trying to do it now with you. If I'm offering an authentic experience to you, then it probably encourages you to be more authentic with me.
Yeah.
In reciprocation, right?
Yeah, exactly. So tell me more about this authenticity, because how authentic should we be, in your opinion? Because, we can be really real and authentic, but sometimes it's just not, how authentic do you need to be authentic, if that makes sense?
I think there's a couple of things that we need to be sort of very mindful of. I think the first thing is that we need to be very open to, we need to be very self-aware. I think that's very important, because also I have kind of my my sort of 4 values. I bore people with my 4 values. So I will bore you just quickly with my 4 values. I think those 4 values are, I mean, authenticity leading with respect. I think that's critical. Yeah. So I'm authentically respectful. So I would never embarrass or humiliate. I'm incredibly respectful when I'm working and when I'm with people. I think number 2, I'm authentically listening to people. I think that's really important. I authentically acknowledge people. I kind of like the idea of smiling at strangers and saying hello to strangers. I find it borderline kind of offensive when people don't say. I often say, "Oh, hi Jasmine, how you doing?" And then they'll just look at me like I'm some sort of a moron. That almost is like, and I would say 99.9% of people I say good morning to. It doesn't matter if it's in a supermarket or in in the park or when I'm walking the dog. People genuinely respond to that. It might take them a couple of seconds because they're so used to being in their, what I call, their kind of trance-like state. But actually, just being really authentic makes a massive difference. So I think that's important. And then also, I make a big focus on trying to remember people. So I'm always trying to take snippets of information when I'm interacting with people, trying to remember a little bit about who they are, what they are, why they're who they are. But I'm mindful of the experience that I'm offering other people, and it's about being consistent. So they sort of know who they're dealing with. I can be perceived as being a bit weird, a bit strange. Kind of chief weird human. I always call myself the chief weird human, but I wear that as a kind of a badge of honor, because I think all human beings are. We're all kind of weird. We're all unique, and we should be embracing that.
It sounds like connection is one of your values as well. From what you were saying, all of those values are it's all about having a real connection as well.
everyone contributes, everyone's part of the ecosystem. It makes it makes life so amazing. I just don't think we spend enough time, understanding others and understanding others, perceptions, and so we just a little bit more time, be a bit more respectful. I like to say, seek to understand before I seek to be understood. That's always served me very, very well. Ask a lot more questions. I do a lot more listening and try and just be a genuine, authentic kind of guy, just a real kind of guy. There's no pretense about me. It's hard for me to say. I think I'd like to be quite humble. I don't. I'm quite. I don't like to be too flamboyant. Having said, I was a bit like a penguin in the a peacock in the Land of the Penguins. But I just think it's important to be, unapologetically me. Sorry, Jasmine. Yeah, unapologetically me.
Yeah, and no, definitely, I completely agree with you. By the way, and so just to be clear, so you have mentioned the benefits of being authentic, but what would you say? Because some people might be like, they're just scared. They have this fear of maybe being judged or being criticized, or like, you have spoken a little bit about the benefits, but what would you say are the main benefits? Imagine there's people listening and they're thinking, no, I can't be myself.
It's just more honest relationships. Again, I go back to my kind of, I would say, I'm obviously going to be respectful. I'm going to be hearing, I'm going to be seeking to understand before I offer an opinion. So I think they're very important, but I'm also quite quick to be honest with people. So if I'm seeing something, I feel I have the responsibility. Sounds crazy, but I'm in a learning space. I work and I develop people, and I've been developing people and leaders and, all sorts of people in all sorts of skills and jobs all around the world for many, 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 many years, more than 3 decades. And I feel I have one of my callings is preparing the next generation. We talk a lot about Generation Z and Generation Alpha at the moment, and they're kind of hot topics. And even millennial. I have 2 millennials in my household, and I feel I have a great responsibility to sort of be preparing them. And I think if I'm authentic and genuine with them, they're better prepared to take the baton from me. And I feel that we all have a responsibility to be preparing the next generations who come behind us, and that's going to be much more about honesty. And it's not easy. It really isn't easy, because I'm a human being. I'm flesh and blood. I do feel sad. I get upset. I get frustrated. But I think there's a couple of things I try to. I'm very self-aware, and I also have a pretty good handle on what I would call my stimulus response mechanism. So therefore, when I recognize when I'm being stimulated in a situation, maybe a good or bad, but whatever it is. And I'm acutely aware about how I take time out to respond to that stimulus. And I think that for me is one of the greatest gifts I have. I think humanity has a great gift where we don't react like that instantly. We recognize our stimuluses, we recognize what's happening around us, and then we respond in a measured way. So just being a bit authentic makes a big difference. And I think I'm just at ease with myself. I wear crazy clothes, I do stupid things, and I just think, hey, it's kind of who I am, and I expect others to do it. Sorry, Jasmine.
Yeah. No, don't say sorry. No, thank you for saying that. And I think that is the key, what you said in the last bit. I think you said you're authentic with yourself. And I think that's it, isn't it? You need the first step before you can be authentic with anybody. You have to be authentic with yourself. And I think that self-acceptance and all of that. So you've done that with yourself, which is amazing. How did you get there? Because that is a journey in itself, I would say.
So I suppose just that, again, it's just sort of being comfortable in my own skin. And it's I suppose you just learn that it's slightly easier. I don't want to be a bit player in my own performance. It sounds really crazy, but I just feel that we're all, simple choice. I live with myself. It's fairly terrifying what I'm about to say. I live with myself 24 hours a day. There are other human beings who cohabitate with me, and they also spend some of that time with me, but none of them spends 24 hours a day with me. Right? Only I have that privilege. because there are even some people who they might spend like 23 hours a day with me, or 18 hours a day, but none of them spend 24 hours a day with me. I can assure you, there's no one. So it's just for me, it's just I only really have to make sure I'm comfortable with who I am. But again, back to being respectful of others, listening to others, understanding others, being there for others. But I have a choice whether how I act. So it would be easy to be depressed and sad, but then the person who suffers the most from that is me. So I would rather be, I'd rather be the person I choose to be, as opposed to trying to conform to what people want me to be. Yeah.
Definitely. No, yeah, definitely. And did you have like a challenge in your life that made you become so self-aware and to have this healthy relationship with yourself, or an amazing relationship with yourself? Or is it just been, working on yourself? Like, was there a turning point in your life, or has it been like a gradual?
I think I think I'm a work in progress. I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
I think the older I get, the better I am with who I am. I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I also very, very, very early in my life kind of learned the benefit of taking feedback. So I think that's really important for me. So the ability to receive feedback in a measured way, because I felt like really helped me develop and grow. So when people have a view of who I am, what I am, I find it actually very, very, it's actually quite, I find it's very frustrating for them, particularly when they're trying to sort of derive some kind of pleasure from upsetting me. I'm a very difficult person to upset, because they can be calling me names or horrible, they can be doing nasty things to me, but my kind of response is, well, thank you for sharing, thank you for the feedback, really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And actually, rather than trying to defend a position or getting angry with them, I find that they would prefer me to defend a position or get angry, as opposed to say thank you very much. And I think that just saying thank you is quite, it's like, I don't know what to do with that. I'm being nasty to you. I want you to get upset with me, and you're basically saying thank you for the feedback. So it's
yeah. No, it comes back again about having that authentic relationship with yourself, because when you have that, you're not triggered. You're not going to be triggered by other people, because you know who you are and what's going on. So these comments and this, it's not going to affect you in a negative way, because you're okay with yourself.
I always say to myself, is that a perception that I want Jasmine to have, right? And that's the only choice I have, is yes it is, or no it's not. Or is it a belief that I want Jasmine to have? Yes it is, or no it's not. And really, if it's a belief that I want her to have, then rock on, nothing required from me. If I feel in some way that it's not a belief I want to have, I have to look at the behavior that I may be exhibiting to Jasmine and think, okay, so perhaps that's not ideal. But am I comfortable with it? So, but again, I'm going to go back to my sort of like my core values, which is I am deeply respectful of everybody. I don't care, and I think sometimes I was in the Merchant Navy for a while. Let me try to put some text around it. So I was in the Merchant Navy. One of the things that used to frustrate me the most was the idea that in some way, I was a very senior officer, in the Merchant Navy, but in some way that, so I had lots of gold. I looked very pretty in my uniform, but in some way that I would have to, that some people would have to earn my respect. So no, in my world, absolutely nobody, there's not one person in the universe who has to earn my respect. They can lose my respect. Very easy for people to lose my respect, but there's no requirement for them to earn it. So my respect is a free flowing tap. I encourage people. I want to really help people. They can think they can take advantage and abuse me, and then of course that respect is somewhere eroded. But actually, I'm not asking them to kind of like jump through hoops to earn my love and adoration. I think they're amazing. So I think that's a really important point. I don't look at someone and go, well, this person does this job, or that person, is a different nationality or different sex to me. Everyone is treated equally. I think that's a really important point. It served me very, very well, actually.
Oh, wow. No, yeah. Thank you, Andrew. I love that. And it's setting an example as well. You're showing people how you want to be treated as well.
You have to see it. I know one of my favorite phrases, you have to see it to be it. You know, so I think sometimes when other, and I think what we, I think if you're role modeling it I suppose the other way of looking at it is kind of walking the talk. So I want to kind of role model the behavior.
Yeah.
So I think what I see so often when I work with humans is just that, particularly with senior important human beings, they tend to demand they demand behavior of other people, but they're not prepared to they feel that in some way they're immune from that behavior because they've suddenly reached this point of status or this level in their career that they've kind of earned the badge to be disrespectful, or they've earned the badge where I don't have to do that anymore because I'm too important now to do that. So but you need to do it because you're not important, you're a small person in the world. And I think that's just the biggest crock of rubbish ever. You know, we have to be genuine with each other. We have to, as I said, we have to see it to be it.
I love it.
So, so I can trying to set examples for other people, I think, is important for me.
100%. Right, let's look at these comments. Thank you, Andrew. So Alan says, happy to attend. Authenticity is a very important topic. Thank you, Alan.
Go, Alan. Go, Angela.
Go, Alan. And Angela says, I love this topic as authenticity is one of my core values, but it requires a certain level of confidence as not everyone will like you and you might not fit in certain cultures. I love being myself, but oh boy, has it been hard to make real connections in the UK. Wow. What do you say to that, Andrew? Do we need confidence to be authentic?
I don't think we need, I would, people are going to probably like just turn off now, but I would say almost I'm actually quite an introvert, so I know it sounds actually crazy, so I would definitely describe myself as quite an introvert. If you spoke to my my beautiful wife or my children, they would basically I'm quirky and I'm weird, but I would definitely say that I quite like my own company. So I don't necessarily
well, that doesn't surprise me because you've got that healthy relationship with yourself. So
so I'm happy with my own company, genuinely. I don't need to be in the middle of a crowd. In fact, I'm probably less comfortable in the middle of a crowd. I prefer to be on my own, doing my own thing, spending time with me and the people I love the most. So I don't think you need to have massive confidence to be authentic. No, just just be comfortable with who you are. Just try it on for size. That's what I would say. Try it on for size, and just you'd be amazed. Just smile at strangers. Just smile at strangers.
You're right.
So if a stranger doesn't smile back, okay, so it's their loss. It's not your loss. It's their loss. Just smile at them and say good morning to them, and you'd be amazed how many connections. I was smiling. I like to smile at strangers. I like to pay compliments to strangers. Not in a creepy, nasty way. Just a genuine compliment. And that's also served me very well in my life. Just being genuinely paying compliments, because most of us spend a lot of time. If you look, the way we have our hair, or the way that we have our, the glasses we wear, or the kind of crappy jewelry that we wear, or the bag, whatever, or the suits, and or bags or phones. It's so easy to pay a compliment. And I was in, millions and millions of people go to bed every night dying for a compliment. Just pay them a compliment. I hope you don't mind. Just soften it if you have to, but I hope you don't mind, Jasmine. But I love your glasses. I love your earrings. I love your handbag. I love your shoes. It never fails to get thank you for noticing.
Exactly. And it's funny that you say that, because I've been trying to do that actually. I haven't done it this week, but I try to make a point of just compliment at least one person today. And of course, they always receive it well. I've never had somebody be, why are you saying that? So you're right. And my mum always said to me, she always says, be the first person to smile. Like, you don't have to wait for that other person. You can smile first. So, and what we're talking about, Andrew, is simple stuff, isn't it? It's simple things, but
it's just honestly, it's just smile. Give people I know, again, it's just give people a hug. It just doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt. I Jasmine, from dealing with me a little bit, I'm a bit liberal with my hearts, right? and a lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Like, oh gosh, you can't do that, Andrew. You can't do your heart thing. And I like, well, I mean, if anyone grabs my phone and says, you know, I'm being, you know, inappropriate with someone, just look at every single person I speak to. It doesn't matter if it's any doesn't matter who I'm talking to. If you went through my emails, my messages, my WhatsApp, whatever it is, you would see it literally littered with hearts, right?
Yeah.
So if someone said, oh, you know, you're singling me out, you're trying to be a bit weird or a bit creepy with this. It's not that. It's not about
Has
that. It's
anyone
about,
said that?
no, I mean, no
Oh,
one ever says it. I read an article in the there's well, you probably know the Sun newspaper, a tabloid, and I read the Sun every day. I read the Telegraph as well, and I'm a huge news hound. I love watching the news and current
do
affairs.
you?
I find it very, very useful. But I was reading an article about an employment tribunal case in the UK a few weeks ago, and one of the bits of evidence being used against a manager was that this lady had been sent to like a heart emoji, and I have to say my heart, my pulse quickened and my kind of blood ran a bit cold. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, you know. But again, it's for me, it's just who I am. And if it was the Sun newspaper, I would say, well, okay, fine. So that person got a heart from me, but I send hearts to my boss. I send hearts to, you know, to everyone.
Yeah.
So it's not like, it's not used in a nasty way. It's just being a genuine.
Yeah, and we need more love, basically. I mean, we need this. Gemma says, "Me too" to Angela. Also, I'm not sure. I think this. I don't know if this is Tim.
Sophie Jallard's book is a very, very, very good book. Yes,
it's an
amazing book. Yeah, definitely the Peacock in the Land of the Peacock in the Land of the Penguins is an absolutely brilliant book. So okay, I would strongly recommend.
Put that in the comments, Andrew, later, because that. Angela says, you mentioned masking, and as a neurodiverse 49-year-old woman, I have found this is probably the most used tool to be accepted and part of a group or community, but it's not sustainable. So masking. So Angela's saying that masking she has found quite useful, but not.
I just feel that it's you're kind of being a bit fake if you're doing that, you know. So I think if you're trying to conform and you're trying to be someone who you're not, I think that's quite. I think the person damaged the most is you.
Yes.
You know, I think we have this nasty habit. I mean, I've worked with lots of organisations that have name badges, right? You know, and the amount of, I always used to call name badges a kind of like a personal, you know, personality storage device. Because I think a name badge is, you know, the amount of people who they come to work and they're really lovely, fantastic, beautiful people, and they come to work and they put their name badge on, and then they become like, what? And then they take the name badge off. They're like, hi, I'm going home now. Really? You know, and I'm always like saying, you know, can we try and be a bit more like that when you're actually at work? Because there'd be a huge benefit and it'd be a lot easier as well. So
more relaxed. And Angela says, totally agree. That's exactly what I tell people. As I spend 24/7 with myself, I just cultivate the greatest of relationships with myself, and I love being me. Amazing, Angela. Abdul Sata. Hi, Abdul Sata. Lovely to see you. And hi, Freddie. How are you doing? Lovely to see you. Authenticity and consistency, two of the most sought after character traits for sure.
Absolutely.
So
so like I said, if anyone ever wants to take this offline and have another conversation with me about, you know, my kind of weirdness and my authenticness, and please let me know.
I will.
I genuinely hey, I'm really, how I got to here I don't really know, but I think it's just by just trusting myself, really. Just
well, that's huge. Like you say it as if it's not if it's easy, but I think trusting yourself is one huge, amazing superpower.
But I think mastery comes from practice, right? So I think the more you practice anything, you then become the master of it.
True.
And I think that's really important. And it's just practicing it every day. You know, people, I juggle chainsaws. You know, I'm a phenomenal. That's the wrong word. I like juggling. I'm a big juggler. Yeah. Okay. And you know, juggling. Most people look at me and go, "Wow, that's amazing. How do you do that?" But actually, it's not. Anyway, you know, if you can see another human being doing it, I always say to everyone, if you can see another human being doing whatever that is, You have the capability of doing that as well, but it does require a certain amount of discipline and practice and, you know, execution. But you can do it if you want to go and, like, you know, tightrope walk, or you want to basically skydive, or you want to, whatever you want to do, you can do it. But you have to basically practice doing it, and rather than blaming, say, well, no, I've never been good at this, or I've never been good at that, or I'm, you know, I'm too old or too young, or whatever. Just you can do what you want to do, but it's just you choosing to do it.
What a lovely way to end this live. You can do it. Yay. Thank you so much, Andrew. It's been an absolute pleasure. I love your energy, your enthusiasm. It's catching. Is there anything else you'd like to say before you go? And how can people find you?
You can obviously find me on LinkedIn. I'm sort of Weird Human, Chief Weird Human on LinkedIn, or Andrew Stots, or just I'll probably a little bit too prolific on LinkedIn, but please feel free to reach out and ask me. You can phone me, WhatsApp me. I've got lots of learning groups. I spend a lot of time helping other people. If you're looking for mentoring or coaching or support, or you want any guidance, advice, about 20,000 books. If you want them, I could probably send you a copy of the. If you want a copy of the, you know, the Peacock in the Land of the Penguins.
I do, please.
I'll send you. I'll WhatsApp it to you. I'll send it to you in a couple of minutes. It's a great little book. Yeah,
thanks so much, Andrew. And Angela said, I love this interview, such amazing, authentic energy. Thank you so much,
Angela. We love you too. Angela, we love you. It's a hug.
And thank you, everyone, for being here. And I will see you next week. Thank you so much, Andrew. You are amazing.
Have one note. Jasmine, thank you for having me. Take care.